Explosive bombshells are exploding across the love and hip-hop Atlanta universe right now, and this one is nuclear. Yandy Smith just stepped into the spotlight and shattered everything we thought we knew about Rasheeda and Kirk Frost's so-called unbreakable marriage. In a raw, unfiltered confrontation caught on camera, Yandy looked Rasheeda dead in the eyes and dropped the accusation that's ripping the entire cast apart. You and Kirk have been living a secret poly life with Jasmine for years, and all three of you sleep together. The room went dead silent. Rasheeda's face twisted in shock and fury as she screamed back, "You're lying. You're just trying to destroy us." But Yandy didn't flinch. She doubled down, voice shaking with years of bottled-up rage. "I've watched it happen. Late nights, secret hotel rooms, the three of you tangled up like it's normal. I'm done protecting your lies." Kirk stood frozen, eyes wide, while Jasmine, who had been hiding in the background, suddenly looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her whole. Fans are already losing their minds. This isn't just cheating or a side piece situation, this is a full-blown, long-term polyamorous relationship that Rasheeda and Kirk swore was nothing but rumors. Yandy says she has proof, texts, videos, hotel receipts, and nights she walked in on them when she was supposed to be out of town. Emotions are running dangerously high. Rasheeda is in tears, accusing Yandy of betrayal after everything they've been through. Kirk is frantically denying it all, but his hands are shaking. And Jasmine, she's gone completely silent, refusing to comment while her phone blows up with death threats and support from the wildest corners of the internet. One thing is crystal clear. This secret has been festering for years, and now it's detonating everything in its path. Friendships are burning, marriages are on the brink, and the entire love and hip-hop family is divided. But the biggest question hanging in the air right now is, what happens when the full footage drops? Because Yandy just promised the receipts are coming, and nobody is ready. The room was thick with tension as Yandy Smith stood there pointing directly at Rasheeda. Frost, her voice cutting through the air like a knife. "You and Kirk have been hiding this poly relationship with Jasmine for years," she said, her eyes blazing with raw anger. "You all sleep together, and you've been lying to everyone, including your own family." Rasheeda froze, her face turning pale before exploding in fury. "You're a liar, Yandy. You're just jealous and trying to tear my marriage apart after everything we've been through." Kirk stood beside her, his hands clenched into fists, looking like he had seen a ghost while Jasmine lingered in the background, her eyes wide with panic, refusing to speak a single word. This was no ordinary argument, this was the moment the secret poly life of Rasheeda, Kirk and Jasmine came crashing into the open, and the love and hip-hop Atlanta set would never be the same again. Yandy wasn't holding back anymore, she had carried this burden for too long, watching from the sidelines as the couple pretended their marriage was perfect while sneaking around with Jasmine in secret hotel rooms and late-night meets. Fans watching the raw footage could feel the shockwaves already spreading across social media, with comments flooding in faster than anyone could read them. How could Rasheeda and Kirk do this? People were asking, especially after all the public fights they had over Kirk stepping out before. As the cameras rolled, emotions ran high. Rasheeda lunged forward, tears streaming down her face, screaming at Yandy for exposing what she called private business. "You have no right to speak on my bedroom, Yandy," she yelled, her voice cracking with pain. "This is my family, my life, and you're destroying it for clout." Yandy shot back without missing a beat. "Clout? This isn't about clout, this is about the lies you've been telling your kids, your friends, and the entire world. I saw the three of you together with my own eyes, and I have the messages, the videos, and the hotel receipts to prove it." The room erupted in gasps as friends and cast members, who had gathered for what was supposed to be a simple sit-down, watched in disbelief. Kirk tried to step in, his voice shaky as he defended his wife. "Yandy, you're making this up," he said, but his eyes darted around nervously, avoiding direct contact. "We've had our problems, but this poly nonsense is not true. Jasmine is just a friend, nothing more." But Yandy wasn't buying it. She pulled out her phone, waving it in the air like a smoking gun. "Then why do these texts from you to Jasmine say come over tonight? Rasheeda is already here, and we miss you." The silence that followed was deafening. Rasheeda snatched the phone from Yandy's hand, scrolling through the messages, her face shifting from anger to pure horror as she realized the evidence was staring back at her. Family drama exploded next when Rasheeda and Kirk's relatives got involved, hearing the news through leaked clips. Rasheeda's mother was the first to call her daughter, demanding answers. "Baby, what is this mess I just saw online?" she asked, her voice filled with disappointment. "Have you really been sharing your husband with another woman, and lying to us all this time?" Rasheeda broke down on the phone, sobbing uncontrollably, explaining that it started as a way to save their rocky marriage after years of infidelity, rumors. Kirk suggested bringing Jasmine in to spice things up, she confessed, but it turned into Something deeper, something emotional, that none of them expected. The family was left divided, some siding with Rasheeda saying marriage is complicated, while others called it straight-up betrayal and demanded she think about her children first. Meanwhile, fans were shocked beyond words, flooding Twitter and Instagram with reactions that ranged from support to outright disgust. One viral post read, "Rasheeda and Kirk been poly this whole time, no wonder their arguments always felt so scripted, this changes everything." Another fan commented, "Yandy, exposing them like that took real courage. But now the whole cast is going to turn on her for breaking the code." Inside the love and hip-hop circle, friendships began to fracture almost immediately. Mendices, who had been close to Yandy, tried to calm her down backstage, but even he looked stunned. "Babe, you sure about dropping this bomb?" he whispered, pulling her aside. "This could ruin lives, including ours." Yandy nodded, tears in her eyes, but stood firm. "I can't keep quiet anymore," she replied. "The truth has to come out, even if it burns everything down." As the argument continued, Kirk pulled Rasheeda into a corner, trying desperately to control the damage. "Baby, listen to me," he pleaded, his voice low and urgent. "We can spin this, make it look like Yandy is just bitter from her own relationship issues." But Rasheeda pushed him away, her emotions boiling over. "Spin this how, Kirk?" she snapped. "Our kids might see this, our fans already hate us, and Jasmine is probably packing her bags right now because of the backlash." Jasmine finally spoke up, stepping into the light, her voice trembling. "I never wanted any of this to go public," she said, looking between Rasheeda and Kirk. "What we had was supposed to stay between us three, but now the world knows, and I feel so exposed." The tension in the room thickened as accusations flew back and forth, with Yandy insisting that the poly setup had been going on for over 3 years, complete with secret vacations and shared, intimate moments that left emotional scars on everyone involved. Twists started coming fast when old footage resurfaced showing Rasheeda and Kirk arguing about trust issues in previous seasons, only for fans to now reinterpret those fights as cover for their hidden poly dynamic. One clip showed Kirk storming out after Rasheeda accused him of cheating, but insiders now claim he was actually rushing to meet Jasmine. The revelations kept piling up, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, wondering how deep this secret really went. Rasheeda broke down again, confessing in a tearful moment that she had grown to care for Jasmine, not just physically but emotionally, which made the situation even more complicated. "I never meant for it to become this," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. But once feelings got involved, it was hard to walk away. Kirk nodded reluctantly, adding that the arrangement helped them survive their marriage when it was on the brink of divorce, but now it was threatening to tear them apart for good. The cast members' reactions were mixed, some like Scrappy and Bambi expressing outrage, saying poly relationships had no place in their circle, while others stayed quiet, possibly hiding their own secrets. The family stakes were incredibly high, with Rasheeda worrying about custody battles if Kirk decided to leave, and Kirk fearing the loss of his business deals once sponsors heard about the scandal. Yandy stood tall amid the chaos, her personal stake being the loyalty she once felt toward Rasheeda, now shattered by years of deception. "I thought we were sisters," she told the camera later, her eyes red from crying. But sisters don't lie like this. As the first part of the confrontation wrapped up, the air was thick with unresolved pain and the promise of more drama to come, because everyone knew this was only the beginning of the exposure that would shake love and hip-hop to its core. The shockwaves from Yandy's accusation continued to ripple outward, affecting not just the main trio but everyone connected to them in the entertainment world. Producers scrambled to film follow-up scenes, capturing the raw aftermath, while security had to be called in when emotions threatened to turn physical. Rasheeda confronted Jasmine privately in a heated exchange that left both women in tears. "How could you let Yandy find out?" she demanded, grabbing Jasmine's arm. "We trusted you to keep it quiet." Jasmine pulled away defensively, her own pain surfacing. "I didn't tell her anything," she shot back, "but maybe if you had been honest with your husband from the start, none of this would have happened." Kirk watched from afar, his face a mask of regret, realizing the poly relationship he once saw as exciting had now become a ticking time bomb, destroying the very foundation of his family. Friends tried to mediate, but the divides grew deeper, with some urging Rasheeda to end the arrangement immediately for the sake of her children, while others suggested therapy to navigate the complicated emotions. The personal stakes felt overwhelmingly real, as Rasheeda confided in a close confidant that she feared losing custody and her public image all at once. "My kids are my everything," she said, her voice breaking. "If this poly secret ruins my reputation, how am I supposed to face them?" Kirk, on the other hand, was dealing with his own internal conflict, admitting in a private moment that he had developed genuine feelings for Jasmine, which complicated his loyalty to Rasheeda even further. "I love my wife," he told a friend, "but Jasmine brought something new into our lives, something that made me feel alive again." The confession only added fuel to the fire when it leaked, leading to more fan outrage and calls for the couple to separate permanently. Yandy, meanwhile, was facing backlash from parts of the cast, who accused her of stirring the pot for camera time, but she remained defiant, insisting her motives were pure. "I did this because I care," she explained in an emotional interview segment. "Rasheeda was my friend, and watching her live this double life was eating me up inside." The unexpected twist came when old messages between Yandy and Rasheeda surfaced, showing that Yandy had once been invited into their inner circle but declined, creating even more layers of betrayal and jealousy. Fans were divided, some praising Yandy for her honesty while others labeled her a hypocrite for waiting so long to speak out. The family was left divided, with Rasheeda's siblings taking sides and Kirk's relatives questioning his leadership as a husband and father. As night fell on the set, the arguments showed no signs of slowing down, with Rasheeda and Kirk retreating to their hotel room for a private blowout that was partially caught on hidden cameras. "You dragged us into this mess," Rasheeda accused Kirk, her voice echoing through the walls. "Now Yandy has exposed us, and I don't know if our marriage can survive the public shame." Kirk fired back, his frustration boiling over. "You enjoyed it too," he reminded her, "the nights we all spent together laughing and connecting. Don't act like you were forced." Their heated exchange revealed the deep emotional conflicts at play, where love, jealousy, and desire had become hopelessly tangled. Jasmine called later that night, her voice filled with anxiety, asking if they should all meet to figure out a plan before the full story broke online. But Rasheeda hung up on her, leaving Jasmine feeling abandoned and used in the poly dynamic she had once embraced willingly. The drama intensified when a surprise visit from Rasheeda's best friend brought new accusations to light, claiming she had suspected the poly relationship for months but stayed silent out of loyalty. "You all thought you were so slick," she told the group during an impromptu gathering, "but the signs were there. The secret texts, the sudden trips, the way Jasmine always seemed to be around during couple vacations." The revelation left everyone reeling, forcing Rasheeda to confront the reality that their secret had never been as well hidden as they believed. Emotions ran high as tears flowed and voices rose, with Kirk desperately trying to salvage what was left of his reputation by denying the extent of the physical involvement. "It wasn't like that," he insisted, but his weak defense only made the situation worse as Yandy presented more evidence, including a video clip of the three of them leaving a hotel together late at night. Twists kept unfolding when fans discovered old interviews where Rasheeda had passionately denied any infidelity, now making her look like a complete liar in the eyes of the public. The personal stakes were enormous, with potential loss of endorsement deals, business opportunities, and family unity hanging in the balance. Yandy reflected on her decision to expose the truth, admitting that it had cost her a friendship but gained her peace of mind. "I couldn't live with the secret anymore," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. The love and hip-hop family was fracturing right before everyone's eyes, with alliances shifting and old grudges resurfacing in the wake of the poly exposure. As the confrontation stretched into the early hours, the core question remained: would Rasheeda Kirk and Jasmine be able to repair the damage, or was this the end of their complicated and tangled lives together? The suspense built with every passing minute, leaving viewers desperate for the next explosive revelation in this unfolding reality TV saga that had everyone hooked and horrified at the same time. The fallout continued late into the night as word spread through the cast like wildfire. Mendices pulled Yandy aside again, this time with more urgency in his tone. "You've opened Pandora's box," he warned, "but I got your back, no matter what." Yandy appreciated the support, but knew the road ahead would be filled with more confrontations and emotional battles. Rasheeda, on the other hand, spent hours on the phone with her lawyer discussing damage control strategies, while Kirk sat in silence, replaying the events in his mind. The poly relationship that once felt liberating now seemed like the biggest mistake of his life, threatening to cost him everything he held dear. Jasmine isolated herself in her room, scrolling through the hateful comments online, her confidence shattered by the sudden public judgment. Unexpectedly, a new twist emerged when one of Kirk's former business partners reached out, offering support but with strings attached, demanding that Kirk publicly deny the poly claims to protect their joint ventures. The pressure mounted from all sides, turning what started as a private secret into a full-blown career-ending scandal. Family members continued to weigh in, with Rasheeda's father expressing deep disappointment disappointment, in a heartfelt message that left her in tears once again. "We raised you better than this," he wrote, "and now the world sees our family name dragged through the mud." The emotional conflicts reached a peak as Rasheeda questioned her own choices, wondering if bringing Jasmine into their marriage had been worth the pain it was now causing. Kirk tried to comfort her, but his words felt hollow, given the circumstances, leaving the couple more distant than ever before. Fans' reactions poured in relentlessly with hashtags like "Expose the Poly" and "Yandy told the truth," trending worldwide. Some supporters defended the trio, arguing that consensual adult relationships shouldn't be judged so harshly, while critics slammed them for hypocrisy after years of preaching family values on the show. The love and hip-hop community was split down the middle, with some cast members posting subtle shade on social media and others staying strategically silent. Yandy received both praise and death threats, forcing her to increase security around her home and family. The personal stakes for everyone involved were incredibly high, with Rasheeda fearing the impact on her children, Kirk worrying about his legacy, and Jasmine facing the possibility of being blacklisted from future opportunities in the industry. As the first waves of the exposure began to settle, the group agreed to a mediated sit-down the following day, hoping to find some resolution amid the chaos. But everyone knew that with Yandy holding all the receipts and the public demanding answers, a simple conversation was unlikely to fix the deep rifts that had formed. The drama was far from over, with more secrets poised to spill and emotions ready to explode once again in this sensational love and hip-hop scandal that had captured the attention of reality TV fans everywhere. The night ended with Rasheeda Kirk and Jasmine each retreating to their separate spaces, hearts heavy with regret, fear, and uncertainty about what tomorrow would bring in the aftermath of Yandy's explosive revelation. The next morning brought no peace, only more chaos, as the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta cast gathered for what was supposed to be a calm mediation session but quickly turned into another battlefield. Rasheeda arrived first, her eyes puffy from crying all night, clutching a tissue like it was her lifeline. She looked at Yandy with pure venom and spat out, "You think you're some kind of hero exposing us like that? But all you did was destroy lives for your own selfish reasons." Yandy stood her ground, her posture straight and voice firm. "I didn't destroy anything, Rasheeda. You and Kirk built this mess with your lies and your secret poly games, sleeping together as a trio behind closed doors while pretending to be the perfect couple on camera. That ends today." Kirk walked in right behind her, trying to play peacemaker, but his face betrayed the fear he felt inside. "Let's just talk this out like adults," he suggested, but his words fell flat when Jasmine entered the room, last looking like she hadn't slept a wink either. The air crackled with tension as the mediator, a neutral producer, tried to keep things civil, but emotions ran way too high for that. Rasheeda broke down almost immediately, tears flowing freely as she recounted how the poly relationship started during one of their roughest patches. "Kirk had been distant and unfaithful before," she explained, "and I was desperate to save us. Bringing Jasmine in felt like a crazy idea at first, but it brought us closer in ways I never expected. There were nights we all laughed together. Shared intimate moments and even talked about the future as three. But now it feels dirty and wrong because the world is judging us." Kirk nodded slowly, adding his own side of the story. "I never meant to hurt anyone," he said, his voice thick with regret. "Jasmine made me feel young and desired again, and Rasheeda seemed okay with it, until jealousy crept in. We all slept together, yes, but it was consensual, or at least I thought it was." Jasmine finally spoke up, her tone defensive and hurt. "I was never just a toy for you too," she fired back. "I caught real feelings, and now I'm the villain getting attacked online while you both try to save your image." Fans were shocked when clips from this mediation leaked online within hours, sparking thousands of comments and debates. One fan wrote, "This poly mess is wild, Rasheeda acting like the victim when she was living her best life with two partners." Another commented, "Yandy did the right thing, these people been lying for seasons, now the truth is out and it's messy." The family drama deepened when Rasheeda's sister called into the session via video, screaming at Kirk for dragging her sibling into such a toxic situation. "You were supposed to protect her, not turn our family into a reality show punchline," she yelled. "Now my nieces and nephews might hear about their parents sleeping with another woman. How do we explain that?" The entire room went silent as the weight of the children's potential pain hit everyone like a ton of bricks. Rasheeda buried her face in her hands, sobbing uncontrollably while Kirk tried to defend himself, saying the kids were never supposed to know. Twists kept coming when an old friend of the couple stepped forward with even more shocking details, claiming he had walked in on the three of them during a private vacation in Miami 2 years ago. They were all tangled up in the suite, laughing and drinking like it was normal, he revealed on camera. I didn't say anything back then because I thought it was their business, but seeing Yandy expose it made me realize the lies had gone too far. This new testimony sent Rasheeda into a rage as she accused the friend of betrayal and tried to storm out of the mediation. Kirk grabbed her arm, pulling her back gently. "Baby, we can't run from this anymore," he whispered, his eyes pleading. "We have to own what we did, even if it means losing everything." Jasmine sat quietly in the corner, her own emotional conflicts bubbling up as she confessed that she had hoped the poly arrangement would lead to something more permanent, like all three committing to each other openly. But instead it stayed hidden, and now I'm left picking up the pieces alone, she said, her voice breaking. As the session dragged on, heated arguments erupted again, with Yandy laying out timeline after timeline of secret meets, hotel stays, and late-night texts that proved the poly relationship was no one-time thing. "You all slept together dozens of times," she accused, pointing at printed messages. "There are videos too, but I won't air them unless I have to, because unlike you, I still have some decency." Rasheeda shot up from her chair, her face red with anger. "Decency? You call this decency, ruining my marriage on national television?" Kirk tried to calm the waters, but his attempts only made things worse when he accidentally admitted that the physical side with Jasmine had been the most exciting part of their dynamic. The room gasped as Rasheeda turned on him. "So that's what it was about for you, excitement, while I was trying to build a real family." The betrayal in her eyes was palpable, and for the first time Kirk looked truly broken, realizing how deeply his actions had wounded the woman he claimed to love. Outside the set, reactions poured in from other love and hip-hop stars, with some like Erica Mena posting cryptic messages about loyalty and others staying completely silent, possibly scared of similar secrets coming out. The family was left divided, with Kirk's brother taking his side, saying men make mistakes and poly is just modern, while Rasheeda's mother demanded she file for separation immediately to protect her dignity. Personal stakes were sky high as sponsors began pulling out of deals, citing the scandal as damaging to their brands. Rasheeda confided in a quiet moment that she feared losing her music career and her home if the divorce talks turned ugly. "I gave everything to this marriage," she told Yandy through tears, "even sharing my husband, and now I'm the one paying the price." Yandy softened slightly but held her ground. "I never wanted you to suffer," she replied, "but the lying had to stop for all our sakes." A shocking scandal erupted in the love and hip-hop circle after Yandy exposed Rasheeda and Kirk's long-hidden poly relationship with Jasmine. What began as a private arrangement quickly spiraled into a public spectacle filled with emotional confrontations, leaked evidence, and fractured relationships. The situation intensified when Jasmine revealed she had kept a secret diary documenting her experiences with the couple, including intimate moments and emotional reflections. When excerpts leaked online, fans dissected every line, debating whether Jasmine was manipulative or genuinely in love. During a tense mediation, Rasheeda read parts of the diary aloud, visibly shaken. She questioned Jasmine's sincerity, asking if her feelings had ever been real. Jasmine broke down, insisting her emotions were genuine but had been distorted by secrecy. Kirk admitted the arrangement initially saved his failing marriage, but ultimately destroyed trust. Yandy, who had exposed the situation, defended her actions, claiming the truth needed to come out for healing to begin. As tensions escalated, deeper issues surfaced, including the impact on Rasheeda's children and the moral consequences of their choices. A private conversation between Rasheeda and Kirk hinted at separation, while Jasmine, overhearing them, felt discarded and confronted the couple. The resulting argument exposed raw emotions, jealousy, and unresolved pain. Meanwhile, Yandy struggled with guilt but maintained that exposing the truth was necessary. The drama worsened when a former assistant revealed the relationship had been an open secret among insiders. This revelation shocked even Yandy and raised questions about how many people had enabled the deception. Rasheeda and Kirk attempted to manage the fallout with a public statement, but disagreed on whether to be fully transparent. Jasmine, overwhelmed by backlash and media attention, withdrew from the situation, posting about needing space and healing. Further confrontations brought in friends and family, including Rasheeda's best friend and mother, who harshly criticized the couple's actions. Kirk eventually admitted the arrangement had been his idea, intended to explore his desires without traditional cheating. Rasheeda expressed deep concern about her family and reputation, while Yandy suggested therapy as a path forward. A leaked video showing the trio together intensified the scandal, pushing their relationship closer to collapse. Jasmine decided to step away completely, signaling the likely end of the poly dynamic. The group later attended a final mediation session with professionals, where Rasheeda expressed a desire to rebuild her marriage without Jasmine, while Kirk admitted lingering feelings that complicated matters. In the aftermath, all three faced uncertain futures. Rasheeda fought to salvage her marriage and image, Kirk grappled with regret, and Jasmine tried to rebuild her life amid public scrutiny. Yandy, though criticized, stood by her decision to reveal the truth. The scandal left friendships damaged, families divided, and fans deeply invested. As more revelations continue to surface, the story remains unresolved. Questions about forgiveness, accountability, and the viability of relationships under public pressure linger. The fallout has transformed a private arrangement into a public reckoning, leaving everyone involved to confront the consequences of their choices while the audience waits for what happens next.